Welcome to In Body, In Mind. Join us as we explore the world of alternative and complementary health, wellness and life experiences. This episode touches on the magic and healing powers of Ayurveda. Seetal Deva delivers a passionate talk on the healing abilities of this ancient practice, the use of its herbs, philosophy and massage. Seetal has married this concept with the Kundalini Yoga teachings. And with me I have Seetal Deva, and we're going to talk about her experience as not just what we know about the Kundalini Yoga teachings, but we're going to talk about the Ayurvedic world, which she's highly passionate about. So can you start to explain to me what the Ayurvedic journey is like? What is it about?
Ayurveda is the science of life. So it's an all-encompassing experience. It's from the moment that you wake up in the morning to the moment that you lay your head on the pillow. It involves yoga, it involves your environment, it involves structure and routine. It also involves non-structure and non-routine, but pleasurable experiences and full immersion in moments.
What attracted you to this? I know it's ancient, isn't it? It's very ancient.
Yeah, so it's over 5,000 years old, and it actually originates from the churning of the milk seed. So as legends and history proclaims in the Hindu tradition that there was the devas and there was the demons. They have another name, it starts with A. And they were fighting throughout history, and then one of the great sages had placed a curse on the devas, and that curse diminished their energy levels and their ability to be able to be the way that they are intended to be. The devas then sought out an alliance with the demons in order to access the milk, like the seed, to bring forth what's known as the what's it called, the elixir of life.
Oh right, okay. Because I've actually heard a long time ago, I came across a person who was actually practicing Ayurvedic medicine, and he actually had come from India, and he'd said to me that they rely on that more than they do hospitals, really only using hospitals for serious, breaks and things like that. But for any illnesses, they're using Ayurvedic medicines. I have tried some, and I find it really intriguing. It's almost like, to me, I've also tried homeopathy, which again is an energy connection. And we all know that herbs, plants are an energy connection, aren't they? Especially if they're really fresh. If we can get things fresh, it's going to do our body a better thing. But you were actually saying the other day that you can actually, if you're going to have a fruit tree, you have three. You have one that you're going to use as a medicine fruit. The other, what was the other?
So the three, and the first one is the medicine. So that particular plant, whatever grows on it, is used specifically for medicine. The one that's your second or your third is all about the fruit on the tree. So everything that comes from it, you can eat as fruit. And then the last is for reproduction of the plant species.
The seeds. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
It is.
So you're in the southwest at the moment.
I am.
And it's your first time.
Yes.
Amazing. And we actually met online with one of our modules, which was, this is how life eventuates for some of us. If we open ourselves up to to unlimited possibilities, I guess.
It was just a knowing, like an instant, a knowing.
It was an instant thing. And so Seetal is here at the moment, and she has just started her business, and she's going to be traveling around a bit. She'll be in Margaret River for a while, but we know the southwest is not that big a place. Half an hour to get to another little town. But so
Australia's
she's got a website and she's offering 1, 2, 3 day journeys, and these journeys entail like from, we're talking about 10 hours from morning to late to dusk, and doing some really amazing stuff with you. I've actually had the pleasure of a massage, a healing massage, and it really was. And I've had so many massages. You can well imagine at my age, I've had so many massages, all types of massages. But this particular massage, my body had experienced something that was totally different to anything I've ever experienced. And so different that, I would actually say that if you're going to try one of these massages, or the day, or the 2 or 3 day journey, which she'll be present with you at all times, that you actually allow yourself some space for your body to integrate what's happened and also to recuperate, because it's not your normal type massage. It's definitely a moving blockages and healing. And I really appreciated that, because my body had experienced something that it never experienced. And I know that we are incredible beings with but most of us have limited thoughts. We can't see beyond the blinkers. We're just looking one way. We don't see what's around us really. It's mostly left, using the left hemisphere of the brain. But this was different. And I did have an incredibly sore shoulder, which I've had for quite some time. Like everyone's got, as you're getting older, you get these aches and pains that from overuse or not using properly, or maybe it's the wrong diet, who knows. But I found that the actual pain I still have pain, because I think it's a spur, I think it's a bone growth, but it has subsided quite a bit to what I was feeling prior, still in this moment. So explain to people what your massage is about. I mean, I've given you my version of what I experienced, but what are you experiencing in that time?
Yeah, it's really special. Firstly, I love to connect with the person in front of me, or the being in front of me, and I love to feel into that person and to see what is present there, and having such an open, wonderful canvas to be able to work with. It makes it a lot easier, because I can see that there's no resistance in what you share, and the truth just comes and it's there. This is the reality. This is where I am. This is how it's happening. And it makes it, there can be more from the practice when we're open to the experience in such a wonderful way. So that's fantastic. And with the day that we shared yesterday, I think took you on a little bit of a journey to start off with. We did a little bit of history and a little bit of knowledge on your being, so the vessel that has carried you to this stage of your journey. And in that, I was able to pick up some not only energetical information but critical information to see the state of your existence currently. So that was through not only general history of your life, but also deeper connections and really listening and healing and feeling you. Then we'd look at some physical things during that experience. We didn't get too much into a physical side of the examination, but that is something that I do offer as part of that. So that enabled me to grasp where you are. And then through the meditation that we partook in together, we were able to identify a few blockages that I could feel in the energetical field and start to shift some of the energy. I was able to feel your being and the energies in this particular area that just weren't flowing as they could, and then the congestion on the chest that needed to be moved, and I could feel the penetration of the aura almost as we started to do that work. So we were able to extend that thicker, heavier energy in this space and bring it outward and start it to break down. So it was almost like molecules were moving around, whereas previously they were sort of stagnant and heavy. There was still flow there, but it's like an artery as an example. If you've got a clean flowing artery, the blood's going to get through and things are going to vibrantly go. If we've got a little blockage in an artery, then the blood's still going to get through, but it's harder. and it's you working harder for those things to occur. So in that, we were able to shift through some of the energy on the right side of the being, and that opened up the throat space. But I was still well aware that that particular area held energy and blockage, and that came in through the ear also. And I'm like, okay, well, this is somewhere that needs more attention. So in that journey, taking you then into a sacred space in which I'm able to work with you on a deeper level and really honor the process of your existence, the creator, and really honor Lord Davantri and the just the existence of all of the elements in your being, and all of the tattvas and the energies, how they flow together. It's I feel what happens in these experiences, and I have so much love for being able to connect into you in that way. And then when we go into the experience and I'm able to physically place hands on you, your body then starts to show me what needs to be moved, where there's something that needs to be held. When we came into your shoulder space a lot, without going too much into your personal story, but when we came into your shoulder space, there was a lot of history in that space. And you had physical operations in the area also, which had removed, am I allowed to go deeper? Yeah, which had removed the lymph nodes from that space. And in that area, that's what's going to create that blockage in the chest that I'd felt originally. And the lymphs can't get rid of that energy, so they're building there. We have to move it out some other way. So in that process and feeling into that space, I was able to help the shoulder to release, and you had a quite significant release in the shoulder, which opened up that area of the lymphs, which then gave me the ability to work in through the throat to remove what I could perceive from the start
that's
of
the
the day.
blockages going all the way up, because you're following the actual grid, aren't you? I mean, and I mean, it's pretty powerful, and and like you said, that you have to be able to let yourself go and actually trust the process to actually benefit from this. And on you are willing, like, even though you've got your day and 2-day and 3-day options in there, I mean, that's at your own home. So you've got someone with you. There's a lot in these packages. There's a lot of work in these packages. And what I do like about them also is that it does actually have some movement and perhaps some meditation to go with it, because you go to a practitioner nowadays and you pay your fee and you're out in an hour or sometimes half an hour, and that's it. Or you may spend and you might spend more on some product, but there's no real connection. It's just a 20-minute, half-hour session, but that's it. And I truly believe that even with my practice of as a Kundalini Yoga teacher, and I do lots of one-on-ones, that it's important that the person who you've been with has an ongoing connection with you, even without coming back or being in touch. And I know that you're actually thinking about or considering, giving a person a program, an actual movement or a meditation program to do for at least 40 days, which I also know, because I've done this and I've seen how this all works. I've seen it with other people, with some of my clients, that it changes them remarkably. And it's amazing, it's such a small time of your time, such a small amount of time. We're not asking you to do anything for an hour or 2 hours. It's something so small, and when you don't do it, then it just, to me, it basically shows that you don't care for yourself, because you're not willing to take something that can be guaranteed to work, and it's scientifically backed.
That's a really interesting take.
Well, I just feel that, because if someone gives me, if I can see the benefits of something, or know that it has benefits because I've actually felt a little bit of it, I'm going to want more of that, aren't I? But we tend to stick in that repetitive pattern of what our life was like prior to it, even though we've gone somewhere to say, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
We keep going back to who we think we are.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's very confronting to find out who you really are. Isn't it? I mean...
And you have to sit in that feeling that arises. And if you're already living in fear, but you feel like you've got control over that fear because you're very controlled in your situations, then you do something that's going to actually make you feel the fear. It's almost like, oh my God, no, it's way too much. And like, but that's what you're expressing, is the part of this is the confrontation of the things that we have the blinkers to. And in doing that, that's actually the acceptance of the self. And then the love starts for the self. Often in society, we're taught so much that it's outside of us.
That's right.
Everything is outside of us. Our relationships, how we find love. We need somebody else for that. And the reality is just so much coming back home. And the more that we are home in our being, the more that we're able to have these wonderful experiences, because we're surrendering to the fact that the existence is home.
And that alone is confronting, and actually, you know, could be quite intimidating for some, because the older you are and the longer you've played this continual loop of who you think you are, you know, this identity, which has been created by your parents and then everyone else, your peers, everyone else around you, mostly, you know, you think you have to behave a certain way. And, you know, that's why we have a lot of people that can't say no. They can't say no. They have to keep saying yes because they always have said yes. But what they don't realize is that living this lie, you know, this fake illusion of an identity, they're actually stopping themselves. They're actually stopping themselves from releasing any form of trauma that they've taken on right from word go, even their birth. It could have been traumatic birth. There's no...
The body never forgets.
No, and that's where your practice comes in, because your practice, not just with, you know, becoming aware, which is what yoga will teach you, because Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness. You can become aware, but there's still things within you that need to be released. And sure enough, the practice can release.
And does.
But connecting with someone else in an Ayurvedic type of healing space, it's a completely different thing. I mean, it's going to complement it.
100%.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think it's something that, I think my experience was amazing, and I would highly recommend, if someone's out there thinking, hey, I wouldn't mind, you know, you've got to be brave. Try it out, because it's something that is very, very, very different. And yes, you will, if you can let yourself go, you will feel those blockages. And it's almost as if you're going through past lives at times, which I think it may have been. I don't know.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Because there's you know, we've got heaps of generations flying through our DNA. We've taken a bit of everything with everyone. We're all together in this. So, you know, connecting together and allowing someone to assist you, you know, that's another thing too, is coming forward and say, hey, I need some help.
Doesn't Dolores Cannon actually say about the DNA, like in the creation of us as a species, and the intelligent beings got all DNA from all species in every galactic experience, and then brought them all into what would actually grow. So once the planet actually sustains life, then these things are introduced, and then we were taken from the apes, so Dolores says, to then turn into the homeostasis beings that we are. But the link of that was the DNA that we spoke of the other day, and you were saying that you can take a strand of our DNA and put it in Sydney while we're over here in Perth or WA, and that DNA will have the same experience that the physical being
if I'm being put through an emotional experience, that emotion will be felt by that part of my DNA in Sydney. And that's proven scientifically. Right? Now, we also know that we tend to come from this frame of mind with those blinkers on, that because my mother has died from breast cancer, I'm going to have the same thing. Now, if we just believe that, we're going to create that. We know that what we fear is what we will create, right? So and most of us live in fear today because it's not an easy world. But it's been shown also scientifically by Bruce Lipton that you can actually with your mind. I mean, The Biology of Your Belief is one of his books, which is an amazing book. With the ability of your way of thinking, you can actually change your genetics. So you can actually be completely different, and that explains spontaneous healings. That explains all that stuff that you see sometimes, and doctors go, "My God, I don't know why it's disappeared. I don't know how. I can't answer that. It's beyond." And we are beyond. We are way beyond.
I think the interconnectedness of if our emotional experience is actually backing Dolores Cannon's realization that we are species from all over the world, from all of the universe, placed into this particular petri dish, then every experience that we have and everything that we actually do and work on ourselves is intergalactically connected on.
So in other words, if the entire world felt love within their heart, which not many people can actually even bring themselves to feel, because it's been a tough life for most. If you can actually feel that, if that entire world felt it, we would be changing the course of history. Absolutely. Because and that's been scientifically proved as well, where they've had people in a town, I think it was Philadelphia, and they sat down and had quite a few people, like maybe a couple of thousand people, sit down and meditate on peace and love, and apparently the crime rate dropped for for that particular period of time. So it is proven. It's scientifically proven. So what more do we need? What more do we need? I mean, most people don't believe in any of this sort of thing because they think, no, that's not true. This can't be possible. I was one of them. I didn't believe that you could spontaneously heal, or that there was anything more beyond who I thought I was. I didn't have any of that.
And you walked.
Yeah, well, that's another story, isn't it? I mean, had a major accident, told I'd never walk again, didn't want to go there, and I ended up walking, just no different to Joe Dispenza. I mean, and that surgeon, the man who looked at my X-ray almost had a heart attack looking at my X-ray. I thought there was something wrong, but I didn't know what was wrong until he said, "I don't know how you walked through that door." And I'm thinking, wow, it was real? See, I didn't accept the fact that it was real. So it is possible, and when you've lived these experiences, there's more to us than just living this life and being born and going to school and going to work and working our butts off to try and buy ourselves a house and a car to try and keep up with the Joneses. I mean, that stuff is the TV set. It's our movies. We can all create that, can't we?
They have. We watch it. It's there.
Yeah. So,
that's Ayurveda as well. It's the science of life. So it's the marrying of science and life.
Yes.
And over the generations, over the 5,000 years, even if you want to put a label on the time frame, it's proven itself because the knowing stretches beyond, and then the backing from the science is there also. So in the programs that I run, we go through things like meditation, Danacharya, which is your daily regimen, which is keeping you in alignment with your unique energy constitution. Beautiful. Then we go into the way that you present yourself through your food, the environment that you have during that particular day, all of these things. And then I do specific treatments to bring that alignment into correction. Now, if you've been operating on a half charged battery and you only have the perception of that half charged battery, you think that's as much energy that you've got and this is it, and the depletion of that energy is really noticeable, right? When you start to come back into alignment and you realize what a full battery actually feels like, your body's going to start to behave differently. You're going to start to meet yourself as a different being. Things are going to shift for you dramatically. But again, if you're on that half-charged battery and you come and see me, it's going to take a little bit of that to build that back up. So you're going to need that time to rest and drop back in and allow that body to heal. And if you've been carrying a brick around like with you for so long, there is an adjustment when that's not there.
That's right.
Because there's a comfort in feeling what you already know. And then there's that unknown of, oh shit, now it's gone. Oh no. Like,
well, yeah, it's confronting.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually, you could even say that it's, you know, if you've got this personality that you're pretty fully much aware of, because you know what you're going to think. You know what you think like, you know where you're going, you know what you're thinking about. We're repeating the same thoughts. Today, yesterday, the day before that, there's about 60,000 of them, and they keep circling because that's who we think we are. That we, like I said, we're just living this rigid, timid, and almost just a limited life. And I think that this type of thing, that with the Kundalini Yoga and also with your practice and what you're offering here, are you ready to face yourself and see yourself as a different person? Because that's what's real.
Yeah.
Because I even found that because there's the habitual things, and our thoughts are habitual. So even letting go of the habits that we know are not doing us any good, we're just doing it for the sake of doing it, you're actually faced with something that's sometimes it's more suffering to you than actually having the habit, because you have to truly look at yourself. And I think that most people do need to take a good look at themselves. And I think this is a way to do it. I think through getting in touch with Seetal and actually having just that one experience, and I guarantee you that it'll be life-changing. It's definitely worth it, and I am really appreciative that I had the experience to actually go through that. And you know, you're not alone, and just remember that you're not alone. There's, you know, we're always around. We're in the southwest. I live in the southwest. Seetal is here. She may end up living here permanently. You never know. Or she could be coming to Perth, she could be coming your way, or you may be visiting here. Get in touch with Seetal. I will add the website link and her phone number at the tail end of the conversation. So thanks very much for being part of my life for the few days you've been here. I mean, it's been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me, for opening your doors and for putting me through experience in Kundalini. It's so nice to receive somebody else's teachings and then to feel into the power of that particular individual and see what you present with, and hearing your voice and being able to feel that space, like the sound journey that you and Dave took me on, I think was really like shook me from where I was experiencing that morning. So I'm very grateful to be held.
Thank you. Well, you know what to do. You get in touch with Seetal and check it out. Thanks for listening. Satnam. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and we look forward to your company in our next episode in Body, in Mind.